Why hasn't the yen's depreciation boosted Japan's exports? In recent discussions, we've touched upon Japan's efforts to support the Philippines, but what about Japan's own economic struggles? The economic data paints a grim picture. Japan's cabinet released the preliminary GDP figures for the first quarter of this year, showing a 0.5% decrease in real GDP from the previous quarter, translating to an annualized decline of 2%. Personal consumption also dropped by 0.7%, marking the fourth consecutive quarter of decline. When was the last time Japan experienced such a downturn? It was during the Lehman crisis. Is the current situation comparable to that crisis? The economic outlook seems dire. The yen's devaluation should theoretically boost exports, but Japan's exports are still lagging behind imports, mainly due to the rising cost of energy. Why are exports not benefiting as expected? This indicates deeper issues within Japan's industrial sector. Hello there, everyone! Welcome to our in-depth exploration of Japan. In this video, we'll dive into the innovations, challenges, and future prospects that define this crucial sector. From cutting-edge electric vehicles to sustainability initiatives, discover how Japan is steering its industry towards a competitive and sustainable future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful content. Japan, a land known for its technological innovations and cultural richness, now finds itself in an economic quagmire. The situation seems dire as economic indicators show troubling signs. But what's really going on in the land of the rising sun? Let's dive into the details. We will provide a detailed explanation at the end of the video. Japan's economic struggles, reflected through the lens of Shānfēng, highlight the need for deep structural reforms and a cautious yet determined approach to renewal. By addressing the root causes of its challenges and fostering a culture of innovation and resilience, Japan can navigate its way out of the current quagmire and pave the way for a brighter economic future. The solution based on Yijing will be discussed at the end of the video, so make sure to watch it till the end. The narrative of Japan's economy is a dramatic saga of unprecedented growth, devastating stagnation, and a bewildering complexity of challenges. This once dominant Asian economy, known for its formidable manufacturing and technological innovation, now grapples with a labyrinth of issues that perplex economists and policymakers alike. From an aging population to a depreciating yen, each factor intertwines to craft a tale of economic caution and curiosity. To understand the present and anticipate the future, one must delve into the past. Our channel previously explored the implications of Japan's enormous debt. In Japan's massive money experiment is now over. What's next? Which provides essential background to the current discussion. As we proceed, we aim to unpack the layers of Japan's economic enigma, seeking clarity amid the gloom. Post-World War II, Japan embarked on a miraculous recovery, transforming into a global economic powerhouse within a few decades. This period, often referred to as the Japanese economic miracle, was characterized by rapid industrialization, technological innovation, and integration into the global economy. Key to this growth was the strategic implementation of policies by the Japanese government that fostered industrial competitiveness and technological advancement. The government's role was crucial, providing substantial support to industries through subsidies, fostering a strong domestic market, and promoting exports. This concerted effort led to advancements in sectors such as automotive and electronics, making Japan a dominant player on the global stage. If World War II was a brutal battle, the Plaza Accord was the economic equivalent of a slap in the face. Picture this: it's 1985, and Japan, recovering from its war wounds, is now facing the wrath of economic diplomacy. The Plaza Accord aimed to devalue the US dollar against the yen, and Japan had no choice but to comply, effectively putting the brakes on its booming economy. Let's rewind to the 1930s and 1940s, when Japan was on a rampage across Asia. The Imperial Army wasn't content with just a slice of the pie, they wanted the whole bakery. Countries like China, Singapore and Indonesia bore the brunt of Japan's expansionist ambitions. The invasion brought with it a wave of terror. Massacres were rampant, with cities like Nanking becoming synonymous with unspeakable brutality. Japanese soldiers didn't just conquer. Perhaps one of the darkest chapters was the establishment of comfort stations. Women from occupied territories were forced into sexual slavery. This horrific practice left scars that remain unhealed to this day. Imagine the trauma of a generation where surrendering wasn't just a loss of freedom, but a loss of dignity. The United States wasn't content with just winning the war. They had to ensure Japan stayed in check. Enter the new constitution, written under the watchful eyes of General MacArthur. One of the most significant impositions was Article 9, which effectively stripped Japan of its right to maintain a traditional military force. Imagine a country with the technology to build robots, but not allowed to wield a proper army. This clause turned Japan into what some intellectuals call an abnormal country. Over the decades, the whispers of dissent grew louder. Intellectuals and political figures began questioning the imposed limitations. Why should Japan remain shackled by a constitution drafted in the shadow of war? Even pop culture joined the protest. The manga and anime Silent Fleet, Shinmoku no Kantai, isn't just entertainment, it's a form of resistance. This story of a rogue submarine captain defying the odds and challenging US dominance resonated with many Japanese, stirring national consciousness. The road to normalcy is fraught with challenges. Constitutional revisions are easier said than done, with domestic and international ramifications to consider. However, the desire to shed the vassal state image is growing. Japan's journey towards reclaiming its military and political autonomy is a testament to its resilience and evolving identity. The late 1980s in Japan were marked by an asset price bubble, encompassing both the real estate and stock markets. Fueled by overly speculative investments and excessively loose monetary policies, the bubble's burst had long-lasting repercussions. The early 1990s saw a significant downturn in these markets, leading to a banking crisis characterized by bad debts and a lack of capital investment. The burst not only affected the financial markets, but also led to a loss of consumer and investor confidence. This period marked the beginning of what would later be known as the Lost Decades, a time of economic stagnation that the country is still trying to recover from. The term Lost Decades aptly describes the prolonged period of economic stagnation that followed the bursting of the bubble. Throughout the 1990s and well into the 2000s, Japan experienced minimal growth, deflation, and a lack of significant economic reform. The stagnation was exacerbated by an aging population, a rigid corporate structure, and a reluctance to adapt to global economic changes. During this time, Japan's government attempted various fiscal and monetary policies to kickstart growth, but these were often short-lived or insufficiently aggressive to turn the tide. The persistent economic malaise not only affected domestic conditions, but also reduced Japan's influence on the global economic stage. When was the last time Japan experienced such a downturn? It was during the Lehman crisis. Is the current situation comparable to that crisis? The economic outlook seems dire. The yen's devaluation should theoretically boost exports, but Japan's exports are still lagging behind imports, mainly due to the rising cost of energy. Why are exports not benefiting as expected? This indicates deeper issues within Japan's industrial sector, gross domestic product. GDP, Japan's economy contracted by 2% in the first quarter. The preliminary seasonally adjusted GDP slipped 0.5% in the January-March period. The GDP value of Japan was worth $4,232.17 billion in 2023. Personal consumption preliminary data from the Cabinet Office indicated a 0.7% decrease in personal consumption during the January-March period. The average of monthly consumption expenditures per household for March 2024 was 318,713 yen, up 1.9% in nominal terms but down 1.2% in real terms from the previous year. Japan's consumer spending for 2022 was $2,365.53 billion, a 12.24% decline from 2021. Aging population. More than 1 in 10 people in Japan are now aged 80 or older. Almost a third of its population is over 65, an estimated 36.23 million. The population aged 65 years old and over was 36,236,000, which is 29.0% of the total population. Value of the yen. The Japanese yen steadied around 155.6 per dollar. The USD JPY increased 0.3590 or 0.23% to 155.7520 on Friday, May 17th, from 155.3930 in the previous trading session. These factors present significant challenges for Japan's economy. The contraction in GDP and decrease in personal consumption indicate a slowdown in economic activity. The aging population presents further challenges as it could lead to a shrinking workforce and increased pressure on social security systems. The value of the yen also has implications for Japan's economy as it affects the price of imports and exports. However, it's important to note that these issues are interconnected. For example, a depreciating yen could potentially boost exports by making Japanese goods cheaper for foreign buyers, which could help stimulate economic growth. On the other hand, it could also make imports more expensive, which could lead to inflation. One of the most significant challenges facing Japan today is its rapidly aging population, which poses substantial burdens on the economy. As the population ages, the workforce shrinks, reducing productivity and increasing the costs of healthcare and pensions. This demographic shift has profound implications for economic growth and fiscal sustainability. The Japanese government has implemented numerous policies aimed at mitigating these effects, including incentives for higher birth rates and extended retirement ages. However, the success of these measures has been limited, and the demographic dilemma continues to loom large over Japan's economic prospects. The aging population and the lack of the younger generation's nationalistic fervor contribute to the economic stagnation. Many young Japanese prefer a more relaxed lifestyle, contrasting sharply with the spirit that once fueled Japan's economic miracle. The decline in nuclear energy post-Fukushima has increased dependence on costly imports of natural gas, further straining the economy. Japan's distinct cultural identity, which emphasizes harmony and consensus, has been a source of strength in times of uniformity and stability. However, in the fast-evolving global market, these same traits have acted as barriers to necessary economic flexibility and innovation. The cultural aversion to risk and the stigma associated with failure are particularly limiting in the dynamic world of startups and technological disruption. The hesitation to embrace change and challenge the status quo has resulted in a business environment that often prioritizes safety over innovation. This is starkly different from cultures like the United States, where entrepreneurial spirit and acceptance of failure drive much of the technological innovation. Despite its historical dominance in technology and innovation during the late 20th century, Japan has experienced a significant slowdown in these sectors. Companies like Sony and Panasonic, which were once symbols of Japanese ingenuity, now struggle to keep pace with their counterparts in South Korea and China. The decline is partly due to the country's failure to invest adequately in next-generation technologies and startups, which are the new engines of growth in the global economy. Moreover, Japan's stringent regulatory environment and the slow pace of decision-making have hindered its ability to adapt to the rapidly changing technological landscape. This lag is not just a business issue, but a significant national concern, as technology is a critical component of economic growth and competitiveness. Japan's homogeneous society, while fostering collective strength, also limits its openness and adaptability. Overwork, a phenomenon that originated in Japan, reflects the extreme pressures on its workforce. Post-war, Japan's young generation was driven by a nationalistic spirit, with many successful entrepreneurs regretting not being able to sacrifice themselves for the country. In a globalized era, attracting international talent and capital is crucial for economic growth, but Japan struggles to embrace this openness. Can Japan regain its economic vitality? The barriers seem deeply entrenched. Historical and cultural factors, such as the inability to fully integrate foreign talent into Japanese society, hinder progress. While other nations thrive on diversity and openness, Japan's insularity could be its undoing. Will Japan ever accept the rise of China and other Asian economies? Only time will tell. Given these circumstances, is Japan truly in decline? The perception is indeed bleak. If Japan continues on this trajectory, will Prime Minister Kishida's administration be able to turn things around? Some suggest internal unrest, with rumors of potential political upheaval. Japan, once Asia's first developed nation, now faces the possibility of losing its developed country status. How did it come to this? In response to prolonged economic stagnation, the Japanese government has deployed a variety of policies aimed at economic revival. These measures have included aggressive monetary easing, fiscal stimulus, and structural reforms. However, the impact of these policies has been mixed. While they have provided short-term relief and helped stabilize the economy, they have not sufficiently addressed the deeper structural issues. Critics argue that much of the government spending has gone into unproductive sectors and that the reforms have been too timid to stimulate real growth. There is a growing consensus that without more decisive action, Japan's economic prospects may remain dim. Japan's trade balance has suffered greatly from the depreciating yen, which, while potentially beneficial for exports, has increased the cost of imports, particularly energy. This situation has been exacerbated by Japan's reliance on imported energy, which has widened the trade deficit and put additional pressure on the manufacturing sector. The depreciating yen also reflects deeper economic vulnerabilities, including low domestic consumption and an overdependence on foreign markets. This complex web of issues illustrates the challenges Japan faces in restoring balance to its trade and achieving sustainable economic growth. The 2011 Fukushima disaster was a turning point for Japan's energy policy, leading to the shutdown of nuclear reactors and an increased reliance on imported fossil fuels. This shift has had significant economic implications, including increased energy costs and greater vulnerability to global energy price fluctuations. The move away from nuclear energy, while understandable in the context of safety concerns, has placed a substantial strain on Japan's economy. The challenge now is to find a balance between energy security, economic efficiency, and environmental sustainability, a task that requires innovative approaches and technologies. Japan's economic challenges are not only internal, but also influenced by the geopolitical landscape. Regional tensions, particularly with China and North Korea, pose direct and indirect threats to economic stability. Furthermore, global shifts such as trade wars and the realignment of supply chains have significant implications for Japan's export-driven economy. In this context, Japan's economic strategy must consider not only domestic reforms but also how to navigate and leverage these geopolitical dynamics to its advantage. This includes strengthening alliances and participating more actively in global economic governance. China has taken the lead, and even South Korea, with its competitive semiconductor industry, poses a challenge. Toyota remains Japan's leading company, but its reliance on Huawei's smart systems for electric vehicles highlights Japan's lag in the smartphone industry, where only Sony has a notable presence, and even that is not significant. The rise of China and South Korea in industries where Japan once held sway has added to the pressures on the Japanese economy. China's ascendancy in manufacturing and technology and South Korea's dominance in electronics and automotive sectors have challenged Japan's traditional economic strongholds. This competition necessitates a strategic re-evaluation in Japan. It underscores the need for Japan to bolster its technological capabilities and innovate beyond its traditional industries to regain its competitive edge in the global market. Despite the daunting challenges, there are pathways available for Japan to rejuvenate its economy. These include embracing digital transformation, fostering a startup culture, and investing in technologies like artificial intelligence and renewable energy. Moreover, structural reforms in labor markets, corporate governance, and fiscal policy are essential to create a more dynamic and resilient economy. The potential for revival hinges on Japan's ability to adapt to global trends and open up its economy to more international competition and cooperation. In summary, Japan's economic struggles stem from a combination of demographic challenges, cultural rigidity, and external competition. The once formidable economic powerhouse faces an uncertain future, questioning its status among the world's developed nations. While the road ahead is fraught with challenges, the same ingenuity that once fueled Japan's economic miracle could well pave the way for a new era of growth and innovation. The Yi Jing is an ancient Chinese text that provides wisdom and guidance through 64 hexagrams, each representing different situations and states of being. Hexagram 18, Shānfēng, often translated as decay or work on the decayed, is particularly relevant to Japan's current economic and social challenges. Let's delve into the meaning of this hexagram and its implications for Japan's situation. The themes of Shānfēng provide a framework for understanding and addressing Japan's economic challenges. The hexagram signifies a period of decay and corruption where problems have been neglected for too long and require immediate attention. Despite the negative aspects, Shānfēng also emphasizes the possibility of restoration and renewal through diligent effort and correction of past mistakes. The focus is on addressing structural weaknesses and underlying issues that have led to the current state of decay. It advises cautious and considered actions to rectify the situation, rather than hasty or superficial measures. Japan's economic struggles, reflected through the lens of Shānfēng, highlight the need for deep structural reforms and a cautious yet determined approach to renewal. By addressing the root causes of its challenges and fostering a culture of innovation and resilience, Japan can navigate its way out of the current quagmire and pave the way for a brighter economic future. Our channel is founded on a humble spirit, emphasizing the importance of openness to new ideas and continuous learning. We delve into Eastern philosophies, including the interplay between heaven and man, the principles of Taoism, and the harmony of yin and yang, highlighting their relevance to modern life. We encourage adherence to the universal laws and employ neural AI calculations to discern the difference between appearance and reality, thereby stressing the vital link between knowledge and action. Continuous learning and practical improvement are key, integrating insights from past doctoral studies with present-day contexts. Did you know? Every region on Earth has its unique longitude, latitude, and environmental resources. If you have topics that interest you, please feel free to leave a message. At the end of each episode, I express my heartfelt gratitude to all viewers for their unwavering support. If you enjoyed today's video and found it engaging, please like it so you can easily find it later. Thank you for your attention and support. Thank you.